Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video.
I just returned from my wedding, which never happened because I had an a-hole for a best friend, and my fiancé, who is now my ex, was a horrible person. I feel betrayed, but I guess it's just one of those things. I've had my fair share of relationships, hoping to find the perfect one. I thought I did when I met Nicole. She was a sweet, caring, and driven person. She wanted the same things that I did. Our values aligned, and she was beautiful. I had no reservations about dating her or even marrying her. She was the kind of person who kept you on your toes and made sure that you were doing your best. I fell in love with her almost immediately. It was like she was a magnet drawing me in closer and closer. I go for what I want most times, which was why I asked her out on a date the second time we met. On that day, I let her know that I was looking to get married, and if I was going to date anyone, it was going to go in that direction. I was interested in her, but only if we were on the same page about marriage. She told me that that was the same thing she was looking for, as she was fed up with superficial relationships. She wanted a serious relationship that would lead to marriage. That really excited me because for the first time, I wasn't dating someone who just wanted to be together for fun or just because. I couldn't wait to introduce her to my best friend, so I did that as soon as possible. My best friend and I were really close. He was my man, and we have done everything together since we met in college. He helped me lose a lot of weight because he knew about health and fitness. We were gym buddies, but he could also pass as my gym instructor. He always looked firm and well built. Meanwhile, I was this fat and flabby teenager, so when I decided to take my health seriously and lose some weight, he helped me. That brought us closer to each other. I say all this because he looked terrific, and anyone could easily fall for him. But I thought that whoever was mine was off limits. But apparently not. I was oblivious to my surroundings because I had no clue that anything was going on between my fiancé and my best friend. On my wedding day, he stopped the wedding and said that he was in love with my fiancé, and that proof of their love was that she was pregnant with his child. I was taken aback by that statement. I felt like my whole world came crashing down, and I was speechless. I didn't know how to react, what to do, what to say, or how to behave. He was my best friend, and she was the best thing that ever happened to me, or so I thought. And here I was, looking at both of them. Nobody was giving me an explanation or telling me that it was all a dream and none of it was true. My best friend took my fiancé away from me. They had an affair, and he got her pregnant. The perfect day for him to spill the beans was on my wedding day. As you may have already guessed, that was the end of the wedding, as I wasn't going to marry someone who had a child by my best friend. I'm yet to find out how everything went or what happened, but if someone told me that I would be in this situation right now, I would have told them they were lying. I put off my phone to help me get away because I didn't want to speak to anybody. I kept thinking about where I went wrong and why my fiancé and my best friend would choose to betray me this way, even though I've been nothing but there for them all the time they needed me. When I turned my phone on again, there were a lot of voicemails from different people. I couldn't even start to listen to all of them, mainly because I knew what they would be about. However, I wanted an explanation for what happened, so I listened to my ex's voicemail, who yesterday was my fiancé. It is unfortunate. She said that she was sorry and still loved me, and that she hoped I could forgive her because she had made a mistake. Hearing that made me angry, but I kept listening. She had an affair with my best friend for months until she realized she was still in love with me, so she stopped. She said that my best friend wouldn't let her go and kept pleading with her. He told her how he loved her more than I did. He tried to make her leave me for him, but she didn't want to. She said that whatever she had with him was a mistake and should never have happened. But it was around the same time they found out that she was pregnant, which made everything even more complicated. My best friend knew that the child was his, so he used it as a perfect opportunity to get her to leave me. Still, she refused and said that instead she would confess to me, which she never did because she was scared of my reaction. He threatened to tell everyone the truth if she went ahead with the wedding, but she thought he was bluffing, and she had planned to tell me everything after we got married. On the wedding day, I wondered where my best friend was. He was supposed to be my best man, so I was surprised to see him storm in the middle of the ceremony. He has this expression of victory on his face as he told everyone about the pregnancy. This was by far the most embarrassing moment of my life and the saddest. I charged at him to beat him up, but I was stopped. I just wanted to inflict some pain on him, which wasn't going to be anything compared to what I was feeling. A thought came to my mind that I was also intimate with my fiancé, so the baby could as well be mine. I thought there was no way of being sure who the father was until the baby was born, which excited me a little. Even if I wasn't getting married to my fiancé, I would love to have a child. After about 2 weeks, I finally called her, and she was sorry, but that was not why I called. I asked her how far along she was, and she told me that she was 3 months pregnant. I then informed her that I would like to have a paternity test to make sure the baby wasn't mine when the baby was born. She told me that we could do the paternity test once she crossed the first trimester if I wanted to find out if the baby was mine. So we concluded that we would do it before the baby was born. I thought that it was perfect that we could have the paternity test before she gave birth because that meant that I would know what my fate was sooner. We could part ways forever, and I didn't have to wait 6 months more because that would have meant that I would have had to keep a wound open for that long, just to make sure I wasn't going to be a father. We did the test some weeks later, and the results came pretty quickly. I'm actually not the father, meaning that my best friend wasn't bluffing. He hasn't reached out to me since then. I guess, after all, he is not sorry because he knew exactly what he was doing. I just wonder how he didn't see it at all. I didn't notice that something was going on between them. Maybe because I never thought that they would do that to me. It is all good, though. They can enjoy their lives together. I lost out on everything. The baby's not mine, I can't marry my ex, and I lost my best friend. It's really painful when people you trust betray you. My best friend was like a brother to me, so it feels like my brother snatched my wife away from me. The pain that I feel is just out of this world. I don't know when I'll be able to be back on my feet, but I will try my best because I can't let people bring me down for too long. My family tried to reach out to me several times, but I didn't respond. I isolated myself because I felt embarrassed. I was in so much pain and I didn't want them to see me like that. I realized that they would like to know what was going on with me and how I was faring. So I started answering their calls and texts. Many of them showed empathy and were angry at my ex and my best friend. For some, it was the case of, I told you so. Some suspected that something was going on but didn't say anything. Everyone had their own theory and conclusions. Different people have different ways of saying the same thing. The summary was that they checked up on me and told me to get over it as quickly as possible, and they wanted me to know that they were there for me. Some people communicated it sweetly, while others were just annoying. It all feels just like a movie. I went from being so excited to be married, planning the wedding, doing all the invitations, and making sure that everything was set to being betrayed in the worst possible way and being in so much pain and agony. I wasn't ready for it, but I guess I'll be fine and scale through this, hopefully unscathed. NTA, my best friend and my ex did the same thing to me, only this wasn't on my wedding day that I found out. It was actually, I caught them together myself. And I can imagine how you feel. I'm sorry, bro. NTA, I'm learning the hard way that people would only be with you as far as it is convenient for them. Just look at how your best friend turned into your enemy just because he liked your fiance.
Next story.
Both my husband, 37, male, and I, 32, female, are freelancers and work from home. During the COVID lockdown of 2021, my husband got new clients and started earning 5 times his salary. We lived in a nice T2, but once he started earning more, he started to hate it. He said he needed more space and a better bathroom, and that if we work from home, we need a bigger place. He started looking for apartments and settled on this 4-bedroom, 250-meter penthouse duplex. It was gorgeous, but too big and more than double our rent. I didn't agree to it because in our 2-bedroom, he never helped with the cleaning. And when I asked him to clean, it would end in a fight or a 2-day thing before he finally picked up a broom. I knew the house would cause more problems, and I would be left with the cleaning. Plus, it was so expensive. I certainly couldn't afford it. I didn't want to move, but he insisted and promised that we would get some help and he would take care of the rent. Just like I predicted, he never helped with the cleaning and said that I should cover the cost of a weekly cleaner as he paid the rent. By this time, my husband hired me as a copywriter for his clients and had me on a fixed salary. Obviously, I knew how much his clients were paying him, but because I didn't pay rent, I wasn't getting my full cut. Fine, I don't pay rent. I'm okay with that. I find it unfair, but can't be bothered to argue about it. Fast forward to last month. I got a new gig and stopped working for my husband. This new job gives me 3 times what I used to earn with my husband. He would check on me almost daily and started counting all the hours I was working. He's constantly asking, "How much are you making this month?" Remember, this is the first month with my new clients. So, by the third or fourth time, I asked him outright, "Why are you so concerned with how much I'm making?" And he responds with, "I think you should pay this month's rent, as I've been taking care of it for 12 months. I was shocked. Like the whole rent? Not even halvesies? I need to add that the rent is 2/3 of my first salary, and my salary is not fixed. I'm still freelancing and invoicing at an hourly rate. My husband is way more comfortable than me. He has lots of money stored in crypto. He has an apartment in Berlin that he rents out, a whole company, and he has savings. I have neither of those things and no savings to my name. I told him not to guilt me or corner me into paying for something that I didn't agree to. If you need help, let's talk about it. He started bringing up holidays, trips, etc., and threw everything in my face. Now it's day 2. He's not speaking to me, and I honestly don't know what to say or do. So I need clarity and some advice. AITA, or is he? He apologized. He came up to me and said that he'd been thinking about how he approached it and doesn't think he communicated well. In a nutshell, he doesn't think that I should be paying for the whole rent, but he does believe I should be contributing towards rent and bills because I'm earning more now. After reading some of your comments, I agreed to contribute and suggested we have a joint account where he put 30% of our wages that can go towards the house and any other big purchases. I also told him that I needed to be considered more when it comes to decisions and that we should go to counseling so we can work towards being a real team. I told him that I don't feel like I have a voice, and if we don't seek professional help, we might as well scrap this whole marriage and go on about our lives. He said, "Okay, as long as you pay for it." Laugh out loud. Just kidding. He agreed, so now we're Googling top 10 relationship counselors in the area. Just wanted to thank everyone for their objective opinions and advice and for opening my eyes a little. I'm more clear on where I stand and where he places me, and if this doesn't work out, I know I'll be fine regardless. Stay blessed, you lot. NTA. Your husband is trying to take advantage of you financially. This is brutal. He's making you finance his choices while making investments elsewhere. I would consider getting a smaller apartment and a new husband.
Next story.
I'm still so mad over this. I, a 17-year-old female, have a sister, Emma, 22, and a stepsister, Una, 22. They never got on well. I literally grew up with my sister talking shit about Una and how she just had an easier life because she was so pretty. It has never been a secret that my sister thought that, and our parents think that too. So whenever Una was here, no one really tried to make an effort with her because she has it easy. I did my best to change this as I grew up, but Emma never did. It actually got worse. Nevertheless, she's still my sister and I love her. Emma has also always been the golden child, so she gets away with lots of stuff. When they were 19, Una started dating this guy. I don't want to go into details, but he was just no good at all. Through this, Una stopped working since he said he wouldn't date a slut. Literally said that in front of us. No one, sadly, including me, said anything. She started skipping classes, stopped going out with her friends, and coming to family dinners as often. It was really bad. Recently, they finally broke up, though. I don't know what happened, and it isn't my business nor anyone else's, but Una came to stay with us, so the three of us were living together with our parents again. This Tuesday, we all went out to have dinner when Emma started questioning Una about her relationship. Just being there was uncomfortable already, and Una would refuse to talk, so Emma kept insisting, and our parents were pressuring her to talk too, which was awkward. It all escalated quickly, and soon enough, Una started crying and just left to go outside. I went with her, and she was just sobbing so violently. I legit thought that she would have a panic attack or something. I stayed with her until her Uber came. She didn't want to go with our family. And then went back to the table, and I was just raging. Now, this is where I might be the a-hole. I started screaming at Emma about how she is a bitch and how she knows how hurtful her questions were, how she has always done this, blah, blah, blah. I also screamed at my parents for allowing it, but I mostly just screamed at Emma. She didn't say or do anything at all, and we ended up leaving. My parents are so mad at me and Una now, and I was punished. Can't see my friends for a few weeks. And Emma just keeps calling me names. I'm not really sorry, but I know I could have maybe handled it better or at least screamed in private. But I also know I made a huge scene in public and hurt my sister. So, AITA, I'm disturbed that your parents were actually okay with this line of questioning. They appear to not understand boundaries at all, not common decency, and that transferred directly to their golden child who is now a spoiled brat. For the sake of your longer term health, get the heck out of there the minute you can. NTA, but I wouldn't waste your breath on arguments like this any longer. They aren't going to change. NTA, OP, would it be possible to move in with Una? Your family, other than her, sounds toxic. Perhaps reaching out to talk to her through this and setting up a game plan to move in with her so you both get out of that toxic hell of a home would be a good idea. Also, the malicious compliance in me says that since you can't hang out with your friends, maybe hang out with Una. Sounds like she needs a bit of a friend right now anyway.